Hi, everybody. This is a pop-up live stream today on Saturday. Welcome, welcome. This is going to be a broadcast over on my podcast. Today it's an interview with my friend Lida Schneider, who I've just recently worked with, and she has explained so much about me by doing my human design. And if you're not familiar with human design, you'll learn more now. You can use this to learn more about yourself, but what me as a mother and also Lida, we like to use this as a tool to understanding our families, our children. How can we better relate to them? And so we'll be diving into this discussion right now. Welcome, Lida. Tell us all about yourself.
Gina, thank you for having me. It's such an honor. It's wonderful to look at your smiling face. It's always nice to work with you.
And always lovely to work with you. I mean, look at this is for you. It's like almost 11 o'clock in night in Germany, and
Yes.
look how bright and cheery you look.
Well, it's because I'm working with people I love, and I'm going to speak about a topic that I have fallen in love with deeply, and the passion is there, and of course the adrenaline's going a bit too.
Great. So tell us, how did you discover human design, and what is it?
It's a long story, so brace yourself. I joined TCP, which is our fantastic transformational life coaching program we took part of. And before I started this program, I knew I had to do something different with my life. So going in, I put into the universe the question as to what is the next step for my life, knowing I want to help people, knowing that I have the ability to do it, but not knowing where to start. Because up till now, I've been helping my kids tying shoes, getting them fed, helping, but not in the way that made me feeling that as if I'm living an aligned life. So I actually first heard about human design within TCP. So I went to look it up and this is very interesting. And I kind of forgot about it. And it popped up somewhere through TCP again.
Okay,
and it was like, yes.
So if anyone's listening and sorry, can you hear that?
I hear a bit of an echo, but are you fine?
Okay.
That was fine. It's fine now.
Okay. So if anyone hears us speak about TCP, that is Jim Fortin's transformation coaching program. So just so you know, go ahead, Lida, continue explaining about TCP and how you discovered this human design.
We can have a good chat about TCP a bit later too. Okay. Anyway, the universe sent me little red flags and I didn't see them. It was knocking on my door. And at some stage, it was literally slamming at my doors going, you have to look at this deeper. And I did. And the universe sent me my first client or first reading, which turned out to be a reflector, which is very rare within this system. And I thought, okay, I'm going to do a reading for her. I'm going to see how it goes and then feel if that is the right thing, if that is the calling, really the calling. And it was obvious that is my thing. It has been the answer I've been waiting for. And since then, I've been diving into it deeper and deeper every day. And I'm busy doing a certification for it here in Germany at the moment so that I can become a certified human design reader.
That is so awesome. So in human design, there's different types of people by characteristics, their descriptors. And That's I am a projector. Yes. Can you tell us more about the different types and a little bit more about that?
In human design, we have 5 basic different kinds of types of people. We have the generators, which is about 37% of the population. Then we have the manifesting generators, which is about 33% of the population. Projectors are a bit less, 22%, I think, roundabout. Then we have the manifestors. The manifestors, they are about 8% of the population. And then the reflectors is 1% of the population. That makes up the whole population. we need each other to function very well within our worlds, within our daily lives. And if we know what we are, what types we are, we are capable to understand how we function, how we make decisions, and why it is maybe harder sometimes to understand why other people do things differently. So, yes, basically the generators are the manifesting generators. We are the people that's doing the work. We always have
The
sustained.
workhorses,
That's right.
the
The
doers.
projectors are the guys that tells us, you guys, maybe you can do this a bit better there. You help us to do our work. The manifestors are the bosses. They are, I call them the bosses because I have a manifesting child, a manifestor child. They want to do, they do whatever they want to do. And the reflectors are there for us to tell us, is our society or the people we surround with ourselves with, is it a healthy relationship? Are we in a healthy environment? Or are we in a not healthy, in a ill or in a bad environment? So they reflect everything that happens around them. And we can go to them to teach us as people, as a society, as an environment, if everything is good and fine or not.
Right. I have a couple people watching right now, and I'm curious if you're watching on video right now, if you've heard of human design, and if you know what type you are, write them in the comments. I'd love to know more about what you know.
Yes, let's
So,
see what we get for
yeah.
answers. It's very easy to get your chart. You can go onto the internet and just type in your date of birth, where you were born, and it's pretty important to have a time as close to as possible to your time of birth. And that's all you need to know. And then you kind of get a whole chart or a whole chart to tell you exactly who you are, where your talents lie, and what you're supposed to do with your time on earth. It's a very interesting system, and it works when you tell people this is what you are and this is how you react to things. It is always fantastic to see the relief on people's faces, because many people first feel that they've been heard for the first time, or that they've been understood for the very first time, because this human design chart tells them exactly why they do things the way they do it.
Right. So I know when I worked and I learned about myself, I learned that I need to take naps. I don't have
Yes.
a lot of energy.
No,
I yeah. So and what I find interesting is even though you can go online and get this for free, get this information for free,
you
you
can.
look at it and you're like, "Huh?" Because you see a silhouette of a body with these triangles and these different shapes in the body, and you see these numbers and you're like, "What does this mean? Gateways and these other
That's right.
things." Right?
Right. It is pretty difficult to understand when you look at your chart. There's a
Mhm.
saying that say that you will only understand your chart 7 years after you've seen it for the first time.
Mhm.
It is quite possible, but it is good to have, when you have a reading, to have someone on the other side to explain to you how it works, and have that feedback from the other party explaining, yes, that makes sense, or that doesn't resonate with me. And then we look into our conscious, we look into our subconscious, and we can tell so much by looking at this chart. It is absolutely, it's mind blowing. You won't need another personality test ever after this, after doing a human design reading ever again.
It's true. I have done Myers-Briggs and all of the personality
Yeah.
tests, color code to find out, more about my personality.
Yes.
And this is the only real, like bright light to like, aha, that's who I am. So I get it. And I
Yes.
love that it talks about your strengths and your weaknesses so that you
Yes.
can be aware and focus more on your strengths.
Absolutely. Because when we know what our weaknesses are, it makes us stronger. Because
Right.
then we don't spend energy on our weaknesses. We know it is something that we should not use or spend energy on. And we can really just focus on all the good things that we have in us. And all of us have so much in ourselves, that we can put into the world, and what we need to put out into the world. And when we know what it is, it makes life much easier.
Yes, yes. And so we were earlier we were talking about our children and how us as mothers, when we learn more about ourselves and about tools
Yeah.
like human design, and for me, the emotion code, which is what I practice, we're able to get some insight into our children that is subconscious, even like it's hidden away. And it's the information that you might not ever really know,
True.
right? Unless you get
When
this insight.
Absolutely. As this system was downloaded, it sounds for people not understanding this concept. Go have a look at it. I'm not going to go into depth explaining this, but this system was downloaded as a message to from the universe to us on Earth. And the man that it was downloaded to was called Ra Uruhu, and he said we need to teach our children their designs so that they know how to function in the world, so that they know what they do and how they react and how they live is according to their human design, so that they can start living in alignment from a very young age. So it is important for me. It was very important to see what types of people I have that I'm trying to raise as
Mhm.
good, responsible humans. And having a very difficult one of my boys are a very difficult little character.
Uh-huh.
And we've been through everything. We've tried, and we've been to psychologists. I've been actually speaking to someone to see if he might be on the spectrum, and we
Mhm.
just couldn't find that. We couldn't find the answer
Mhm.
until I got his human design chart and saw that he's a manifester, and they are known to be extremely difficult children.
Really?
And it changed my view as to why he's reacting the way he is. Is he doing the things he's doing? That helps me to raise him in a more awareness, or within an awareness of who he is and why he's doing things, instead of going, oh, this child is just driving me nuts and I want to run away.
Yeah.
It helps a lot. And with the other boys, I've got 3 boys.
Mhm.
The other 2 are knowing that they're generators and looking at their open and their defined and not defined centers. It tells me a lot about why they react emotionally to certain things, why the one uses his voice in extremely loud, and why. It just opens up a whole new world for me in understanding my children, which makes life for all of us much easier and forgiving, I would say.
Right, right. You have more compassion.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We should actually teach them our our types too, so that they have
Right.
compassion too.
I
But
know, back to us.
we'll get around to that. No, but I think it's a good place to, if they don't necessarily have to know who and what types they are, but if you know my child is a manifester and he needs to inform his strategies to inform me, I can teach him how to do that. I can teach him, okay, this is where we stop and this is where you can go further. We first have to have a discussion over that. Um, so that he can first, by telling me, understand what he's telling me and I see where he's going, instead of just going and doing it. It makes things way easier for us.
Right. Yeah, I agree. It's I mean, I don't know what my son is in human design.
We'll have to have a
Maybe
look.
we'll just have to have a look because that would be really interesting.
It will be.
Hmm.
It
Yeah,
will
but
be. And with the emotion coding, I think it's a very good combination. It's always these systems that's been given to us from the universe. Um, we have to use it to understand, help, support the people we love.
for sure. Yeah. So this is great. I mean, that you can understand there's so much complexity in as far as when you did my reading of my human design chart and looking at it, because I told you like I was afraid because everything was not
Yes,
colored. I
yes,
had open geometric shapes in my body. If
that's
you can
right.
imagine that, if you're listening, and it's basically the graph that you get is a silhouette of a body, and in it you'll see different shapes like triangles and squares, right? And
That's right.
usually some are
Diamond.
colored in,
Yeah.
red, and I don't know what if there's any other colors, but
There's red, brown, green,
mhm.
yellow, lots
Wow.
of red and black.
Wow. So
Yeah.
my silhouette of for my reading was plain. And I was like, "Uh-oh, what's wrong with me?" Because I don't have any color in my body. So yeah, you explained that having that was not a problem.
Not at all. The beauty of human design is something that I personally find fantastic. It is the fact that there's no right or wrong. There's just beauty, and we're going to pick out all the beautiful things within you, and you have it, and then you know what it is, and you can work with that. There's nothing wrong, there's nothing bad. It's just a wonderful way to know what is the good in you, and that makes a big difference in the lives of people. I remember you being relieved when you found out it's not bad having so many open centers.
Right. And so these shapes are called centers, and
That's
they're
right.
energy centers, right? Do they
That's
align with
correct.
the chakras?
They are based on the chakras. Human design is based on a few old religions or old systems, chakras, the Kabbalah, the I Ching. So yes, the nine
Mhm.
centers are loosely based on, well, is based on the chakras, and they've just added two to it to explain all the emotions and where our energies come from.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And Nita is here watching right now. She says that you've helped her a lot, and she discovered that she's a reflector.
She was my first,
She's
she
the one you were talking
She
about
was the
earlier?
one that changed everything for me. Yes, yeah,
Nita,
my
you changed her
girl.
life, Nita. Did you know
Yes, she
that?
did. She was there. She experienced this moment where I just went, oh, it's there. It arrived. It is here. I can't imagine doing anything else.
That's so awesome.
Hi,
Wow.
Nita.
So cool. So of all the different types, are there any oh, oh, she said she missed that part. You'll have to watch the replay. Yeah, it's so good. We were talking about Unita and how Lida discovered that human design was her jam because of the reading that she did with you. I am waving, but you cannot see. That's what she said.
Oh, we're waving too, and you can't see.
So fun. Awesome. Yeah, is there anything else you think people should know about human design, and why should they get a reading done?
Yes, I think the timing for human design is just perfect right now.
Mhm.
During the pandemic, I think many people started asking the question of who am I? Where do I fit into the world? How can I make the world a better place? And having a human design reading can give you the direction for that. Human design is going to change a lot of things for us in the world, how we think about it now. I know of a few companies, well, not a few, I know of two people in Germany now working with it in their company, putting teams
Wow.
together, saying that we can't just have manifesting generators within a team. We need to get a projector in there too for the balance and for the work to flow better than it has been with only manifesting generators within a team. It is about to change a lot of things. Human design is also within itself changing a lot. It has been modernized, and we get new fancy, or not fancy, more usable names. It was it was first downloaded in 1987, and some of the descriptions are still in a very old kind of language. So the language are being refreshed. Looking at the system and how to explain it to people is being refreshed. It can only help you, and you will never ever have to do any other personality test ever again.
Right.
Having that deep knowledge is just such a fantastic tool for yourself, and again for your family and the people around you. And as we've learned in TCP, we have to expand the good vibes into the world. We have to start small and have everyone see the good and put it out there so that we can become a whole collective of good.
Yes, completely. Nita made a comment, and I put it here, and it says, "Everything made
Yes.
sense to me after I totally agreed Agree. Having done emotion code reading with Gina and human design makes life lighter. That's great. Wow,
Yeah.
what a nice combination.
That is, I
So
think it is a
awesome.
perfect one. I actually I had a class tonight with my certification. We had a Zoom class, and we spoke about it. We had a conversation about the combination of human design and emotion coding. How amazing that is to use to just get that deeper knowledge of who you are and taking away a lot of the burden that you are carrying with you at the moment without even knowing it.
Right. That's so awesome. My neighbor just turned turned the weed whacker on, so I think we're gonna have to wrap this up.
Not a
Is there
problem.
anything that you want to tell us before you leave?
I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for this opportunity. I hope you're going to tell everyone more about TCP.
Oh yeah, I will.
I, I'm going to throw in my 5 cents too. I know when you read something about TCP somewhere, you're going to read, it changed my life. Well, it did. But that sentence just isn't enough. It changed the trajectory of every single person taking part in this program's lives. We see, we experience, and we feel life differently. So get yourself into the be do have and do yourself the favor. Other than that, have a human design reading. That's a good start already, too.
Yes, and I'll put your information in the show notes so that people can reach you. Okay.
Thank you, my dear.
Thank you. I'm so sorry we have to cut this short now.
Not a problem. Thank you for your time, and we'll speak again soon.
Okay, bye everybody. Thanks for watching. Make
Bye.
sure
Have a
you
good evening.
take a look at the show notes so you can connect with Lida and learn more about who you are. Aloha. Thanks, Lida.
Ciao.